What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be part 3 and most likely the last part of this series. Let's pick up where we left off.
In the White House with Trump and things like this, they leave the sisters out who are really doing the work, who are the attorneys.
Well, I think I'm speaking specifically of the optics of it all. It seemed as if Kim Kardashian could go to Trump and ask for some things and get it done. And perhaps it was part of the tactic to have the two black girls not really be recognized in order to make the accomplishment. I don't know the answer to that.
So what would she got some commutations. Alice Johnson was one of them.
Right.
Got a commutation for, right? Okay. We're happy that she got out.
But she was never considered a sellout. Steve Harvey was.
Right. Well, who you mean Kim Kardashian was never considered a sellout?
Right.
Well, she's white. Kim Kardashian is white. Last time I checked, I know she likes black men, but she's white.
Well, she's definitely not black. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not gonna call her a sellout. No. But I think I saw an interview that Steve Harvey did with D.L. Hughley, and he said if he hadn't
D.L. Hughley, another victimhood loving Negro. I've done several videos on DL, and I stopped doing videos on DL because that nigga's just too pathetic, man. He's pathetic. He's too damn old to still be bitching and whining. He sounds like a little bitch, man. No disrespect to D.L. Hughley, but he ain't doing nobody, and when I say nobody, I mean quote unquote black people, a favor. No favors at all. This nigga D.L. Hughley still bitching about Trump. We damn near we in May, and he's still bitching about Trump, man. Like that nigga. That nigga. Yeah, so he's another one, man.
known the type of backlash she was going to get, she would not have gone to meet with Trump. And also the backlash his family received, okay? But once again, if you're going to go meet with somebody like that, Trump, whoever, you're going to meet with that, you don't want to go as an individual. You want to go with a group that has an agenda.
No. You non-solution having Negro don't want to go by yourself. And that says a lot about you and your fucking organization. Nigga, you got no solutions. This is my point. You up here, you got all this shit, you talking all this shit like you're supposed to be somebody. But then she asked you a simple ass question. Would you go and speak to the president? And you said, no, I wouldn't go by myself. Nigga, because he's a bitch. Okay? And that means you have nothing to offer. So if that's the case, do us all a favor and step the fuck aside. Man, I'm gonna go with people that have an agenda. Nigga, no. Don't go with people that have an agenda. Why? Because they have an agenda. Come on. It's real simple. It's real simple. You know, you figure out the solutions. What do you think, Michael Imhotep? What the fuck do you think? Huh? Not once did you offer any solutions again during this whole thing. Not once did Umar offer any solutions during this whole thing, man. You guys are fucking pathetic.
Agenda to empower African Americans, as opposed to, because Trump, he likes to be.
Nigga, if that's the case, then how about you think of a way to empower African Americans? That way, if you ever get the opportunity to talk to the fucking president, say for instance, you just happen to be in this town where the president's at, and something comes up, and you get to go and meet Joe Biden. What are you gonna tell him? Oh, you know what? Shit, man, I don't got my posse with me with their agenda. So you know what? I'm just going to, I'm gonna sit this one out. What kind of dumb shit is that? What kind of fucking dumb shit? What sense does that make? See, but it makes sense to these silly ass Negroes, man. To these niggas.
Trump likes to be seen with black entertainers, black hip hop artists. Okay, his name was mentioned. I can't remember, something like 100 times or 200 times over the course of 20 years, something like that, in hip hop songs. Okay, so Trump liked to be around that. All right, and use those photo ops. So we have to be smarter than that.
Nigga, you not being smart, you fucking idiot. You haven't said anything smart. This whole fucking segment. You haven't said anything smart, dude. And no disrespect to this brother, man. No disrespect, but look, that's a layup. Oh, if you get the opportunity to talk to the president about issues regarding the quote unquote black community, and you're the president of the African History Network, and you got this fucking platform, I would expect you to say yes. You damn right, and then you should be ready. Like I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? I ain't talking to the president anytime soon, as far as I'm concerned. But you know what? I stay ready. Stay ready. No matter who the president is, I'm ready. Want to know why? Because I put the time in. I understand what's going on. I understand what we need. Okay, I have solutions. This motherfucker, if you don't got solutions, nigga, you just a bitch. To be honest with you, man. Any dude that isn't thinking solution oriented, you's a bitch to me, man. All right, I don't need you just fucking muddying up the waters, adding your 2 cents. Okay, if it ain't about solutions, then get out of my face.
Dr. Umar, Michael says he wouldn't have visited Trump. I'm curious to know, would you have?
Yes, I would have. It is important that we as African people always speak truth to power when given an opportunity. I didn't have an issue with Black people meeting with President Trump, but what I did have an issue with, as Brother Michael is saying, is who we allowed to meet with President Trump.
Well, first and foremost, Umar, see, this is what I'm saying. Like, niggas supposed to be smart, but they say a lot of dumb shit. What do you mean who we allow? Last time I checked, there wasn't a poll that went by saying, who should go talk to the president? Kim Kardashian, Steve Harvey, and a whole bunch of other niggas. Like, that wasn't the case, okay? That wasn't the case. These people are celebrities. You know, who knows how it happened? Maybe they reached out. Maybe he reached out. I don't know, okay? I know Lil Wayne reached out. So it's not like who the fuck we allow, nigga. Like, that's not how it works. We didn't know. No one stamped Steve Harvey's fucking card and said, okay, yeah, now you good. We allow you to talk to the president. That's not how it happened. So what are you talking about? Who we allow? Look, niggas reached out to Trump and they was meeting with him. When y'all saw that, y'all should be like, oh shit, Trump actually meeting with niggas. So let me see what I can do to figure out how I'm gonna meet with this nigga. But no, I don't think you did, Umar. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you did. I could be wrong, but I actually highly doubt that you did. Tried to reach out to him. Highly doubt it. So again, what solutions are you about, Umar? Again, you're supposed to be a Pan-Africanist. I ain't never hear you say nothing about freaking taking that trip to Africa. And I don't mean just going. Because according to you, you've been there a few times. And that's cool. But you supposed to be making that pilgrimage, motherfucker. The way you be talking, the Prince of Pan-African, nigga, if you don't shut the fuck up with all this fucking garb, you know damn well once you turn off that screen, you're gonna take that stuff down. You're probably gonna have that poster of Lil' Kim when she like doing that squat behind it. That's the type of nigga you is, man.
Steve Harvey has no history of political activism in the Black community.
What does that have to do with anything? The nigga spoke to the president. He did more than you. So with all that experience in activism that you have, Steve Harvey with 0 has done more than you. So what are you saying, Umar?
Harvey has no history of speaking up to the white power structure on behalf of Black people. So although I would have had no problem with a Black activist or organizer meeting with President Trump, I did have a problem with Black celebrities meeting with President Trump.
Why can't they? If they want to meet with the president, why can't they? Why is that an issue? Why haven't you? Why haven't you said yet during this time, I tried to reach out to Trump to speak to him, but he wouldn't allow that, yada, 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 and bring up the receipts? Oh, yeah, that's right, Umar, because you never did that.
Was the issue. And
would
as
you
it relates
consider them
to
sellouts?
And I'm not sitting here saying Steve Harvey is a sellout or not. I'm just talking about overall the situation in the context of this conversation.
Say that again.
Would you consider them sellouts?
Who?
Steve Harvey and there's another one I'm thinking of.
I wouldn't consider Steve Harvey a sellout as strictly as I would consider a Shaquille O'Neal, a Charles Barkley, and a Kendrick Perkins sellout. And the reason I'm drawing a distinction is whenever Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, and Kendrick Perkins open their mouth on issues involving Black people, they always...
Mind you, all those guys are basketball players. Former basketball players.
Take the side of the white power structure.
And I don't from what I've heard from Shaq and Charles and Kendrick, I can't agree with what Umar's saying right now.
Whereas with Steve Harvey, I have seen some attempts by him to defend the integrity of Black people. It's not often. I'm not even going to say it's acceptable, but there is levels to the coon kingdom. There's levels to the coon kingdom. So even though they are all sellouts, you have your grade A coons like Jesseleepeterson and Charles Barkley, and then you have your grade B coons, which will be like a Kendrick Perkins and a Shaq, and then you have your grade C coons, which...
So no, like I said, the real coons are the niggas that's actually in your hood right now, selling drugs, selling guns, doing gang initiations, beating up people, jumping people, robbing people, breaking into houses. Those are the real coons. Those are the real coons. And if you want to do what Umar's talking about and break it down into levels, I guess the next level up would be Umar. He's that type of coon. Because he's stealing money or stealing. Yeah, I'll just say stealing. He's stealing money from the community. And that school, that school ain't opening, man. So, like, let's talk about that, man. Like, those are the real coons. Coon isn't just somebody you want to call a coon because you disagree with their stance on given topics. Okay? That's a very emotional bitch-ass approach to take. Oh, are you a coon because I don't agree with that? Nah, man, look. I don't agree with many things that a lot of people say, but do I go around calling them coons? No. No, like I said in the other video, out of 100% of words that come out of a person's mouth, 99.9 might be bullshit. But that 0.1% of it might actually be valid. So it's up to you as a man to be able to listen and understand and dissect what's being said. Okay? It's up to you.
Would be like a Steve Harvey. So
you
there's
do put him in the
levels to
coon
the
category.
coon kingdom. Say again.
But you do put him in the coon kingdom.
I would put Steve Harvey in the coon kingdom, but he wouldn't be grade A like Jesseleepeterson and Charles Barkley. And the other thing I wanted to say quickly, Tammy, with Kim Kardashian, that was a perfect example of racism on the part of the white power structure who says, I would rather hear a white woman articulate the issues of incarcerated Black.
Okay, so stop right there, Umar. Like, what? Who the fuck said that, my nigga? Who said that and when? Let me know. That's number one. Number two, she had a voice. She spoke up. And again, I'm not sitting here. I could care less about what Kim Kardashian does. But you know what? She had a voice and she spoke to the nigga and she got something done. More than you, motherfucker. You haven't even got the school done, and you over here talking about what someone else did and trying to say, oh, well, they did it because it's coming from a white woman. Nigga, what happened when Lil Wayne asked for favors, huh? What happened with that? Please enlighten me, Umar. Enlighten me, because you ain't making no sense. You and this sleepy nigga over here on the right, like, oh my God. I said, oh my God.
Females. Now you have hundreds of Black women who fight for the liberation of incarcerated sisters every day. I can run off organizations all day long, but instead of meeting with Black women who are in the trenches doing the work, we are instead going to let a privileged white woman
First of all, again, nigga, we didn't let that. Again, the poll didn't come around saying, hey, y'all want to let Kim... No, that never happened, okay? However she made it happen, she got in contact with President Trump or his people, okay? So you want to sit here and say, oh, instead of, him talking to, like, the people that are actually doing this work, did they reach out to him? Again, they would have to show me the receipt saying, we reached out to President Trump, but, he never got through, yada, 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 yada. Okay, all right then. But I don't see that to be the case, Umar. So you're just talking, again, you're just talking some bullshit. You're just full of shit.
Articulate the issues for Black people. And Sister Tammy, that was dangerous that Black women supported Kim Kardashian being their mouthpiece, because what it does is it reinforces an old stereotype that Black people are.
Well, I agree with that part. Okay, and again, that's what I'm talking about. When you're listening, like, yes, there's gonna be things that people say that you might agree with, and other things that you don't agree with. But you have to be able to, separate them all. So yes, I do agree with that part, and I say all the time, you can't allow yourself to be pimped out by any other demographic. That's your struggle. Like, for instance, in the Black Lives Matter movement, that shit, you don't see no black men out there. But every time a black man gets killed, they're the ones out there. And when you look at the people, it's a whole bunch of freaking Europeans, and then there's a whole bunch of the gays out there running around. So that doesn't add up. So yeah, you cannot allow, outsiders to commandeer your movement or your voice. So I do agree with him on that. Like, again, I don't give a fuck about what Kim Kardashian does. I don't really, that doesn't concern me. But she's doing whatever she's doing. Look. Are you gonna? If you ask me, oh, Aaron, what did you expect? I would say yes. I would expect a whole bunch of liberal black women to get on that and champion that. Want to know why? Because liberal black women put being a woman above being quote unquote black. All right, they much rather go to fight with their freaking quote unquote white sister than they will for their quote unquote black man. Okay, and that's been made obvious time and time again. So yes, that's not a surprise. That's literally right on par with how I would expect them to react in that situation. But then again, why are these women? Why are we looking to these women for these roles? Where are the men? That's the focal point. All right, we need to focus on the men. Where are the men?
Not intellectually sound enough to articulate their own issues, and that they need a white person to do it. We should never celebrate a white person being selected to represent our issues. It should always be someone who looks like us.
That should be a part of the code.
That should be part of the code.
Go ahead, Michael. We're coming right to you. Go ahead, Michael.
Just a quick clarification. I didn't say I wouldn't go to meet with Trump. I said I wouldn't go by myself. I would go with a group.
Yeah, nigga, look, we heard what the fuck you said, okay? We heard your bitch ass. You said you wasn't gonna go by yourself. All right? You the type of nigga that ain't gonna roll up on to fight unless you got the whole squad with you, all right? We know who you are, nigga, all right? So let's step aside. The fuck out of here trying to clarify. Oh, I never said I wouldn't go. I just said that if I had to go alone, I wouldn't. Because I ain't got shit to say. I don't know what I would say to the president, man. I don't know. Like, what the fuck, nigga? Why are you on the panel then? Yo, man, y'all, please do me a favor, y'all, like, share, subscribe to this channel, all that good stuff. Yo, y'all gotta vote me in and get these niggas out. We gotta primary these niggas, man. We really gotta start. And again, it's not that complicated. It's really not, nigga. Like, if you are a quote unquote voice in the quote unquote black community, the answer should always be yes. If they ask, are you going to speak to if you have the opportunity to speak to a leader to address quote unquote black issues, yeah, it should always be yes. Not a fucking, I need my crew. Nigga, step aside.
Of people a group of African Americans who have a political agenda, who have an agenda to get something for our people.
No, nigga, you don't need an agenda, all right? You need a plan and a solution, or a solution with a plan. You don't need a fucking agenda. You don't need a whole bunch of people to have an agenda. All right? Use your brain. Use your brain and think of what are the issues plaguing the black community, and get to the root of those issues. Get to the root. And then implement something that's going to address the root. Very simple, all right? That's very simple. You don't need you don't need a coalition of people to come up with a fucking agenda. You don't need that. And if everybody had the same mindset as your fucking silly ass, we won't get shit done. Because we'd always have to wait for the fucking rest of the group to arrive. Oh my God, man.
Just go by myself and I wouldn't go for a photo op.
Absolutely. Reverend Jesse.
Yes.
You're a part of the Coon Kingdom, he says. That's
right. You just heard the voice of a beta male. That made no sense of what the doctor said and what Michael said. It's sad to see that most black people believe that they're all the same because of their color. They're not looking at the...
preach it. I've been saying this shit. I've been saying it. I rewind it. But I've been saying this black people, the only people, and I mean black people, like I'm referring to the quote unquote blacks here in America, only people on the planet that try to group everybody in based off of color. The only group, because they don't understand what culture is, and they don't understand history. Like real history.
Said and what Michael said. It's sad to see that most black people believe that they're all the same because of their color. They're not looking at them their true self. They are a spirit created in the image of God. They don't know that. They're going by colors, and so they're all in the same pot, headed down to the road to destruction.
Reverend Jesse, I want to ask you.
Donald Trump was the best thing that ever happened to Black Americans, because Donald Trump did not seek colors. He saw colors, but he wasn't into the color thing. He was into what is right. And that's why he was able to help black people more so than any other president that we have had in the last, I don't know how many years, right? Obama was the worst, by the way, but Donald Trump was the best. I call him the great white hope because
Donald Trump did do some good things for the quote unquote black community. The best one, in my opinion, would be the First Step Act, which in a short summarization is a way to get men out of prison. Now, considering that black men make up the overwhelming population in prison, that directly affects quote unquote black men. And then obviously, if you understand anything about being principled, and as you understand anything about my channel, then you know that you cannot be for the black community if you're not for the black man. So by getting black men out of prison, that is doing something to help the quote unquote black community. So yes, that is a great thing, in my opinion.
He made America great again. Black people went to work. They started buying homes and starting families and things like that because of Donald Trump. But these people like Dr. Umar and Michael, they're into their color. They're in a fallen state. They're weak males, and they cannot see. They can't see that Donald Trump was a man of God. He was a conservative Christian, straight white man who loved what's right, and he wasn't into the color. That's why Kanye West and other black men and women who met with the president, they respected him because he was not into color. He gave Black University more money than anybody else, and all they did was misuse it. He did more to help the blacks than anyone else.
We're going to take a quick break and come right back on the Tammy McLeod Show.
Grown people, bro.
Sure, or relax. Drown.
He did smoke with Obama, and all his ass won't smoke with him again because Michelle don't appreciate this. He's not no more.
Every Friday.
That's what I've been talking about. First of all, Obama allegedly is a homosexual, so I'm sure he was doing more than just smoking with whoever. But like these are the shows, the quote unquote programs. Like this show, this channel, Fox Soul. I never heard of it, but obviously it's a fucking thing. Every goddamn commercial I see is always some bullshit like that. Like really? Like yo, man, this is a fucking joke.
Right.
You can just look at Obama and you know he is down.
He was like, man, Snoop, what you got?
On Foxsoul.
I can hear them old senators now. And Obama was smoking reefer with the rappers.
Shut the fuck up, nigga.
Welcome back to the Tammy McLeod Show on Fox Soul. Tonight, the business of being black, working for a white company. Is that a sellout perspective, Michael?
Can I address what I was going to say before the break right quick?
Absolutely.
Go to that question. So a lot of people like to talk about the money and they say Donald Trump gave to HBCUs. Okay, that was Representative Alma Adams' bill. Okay, that bill passed, but another black woman that doesn't get credit. White people take the credit for what she did.
Stop
that bill passed. That bill passed the House of Representatives. That bill, please, sir, don't interrupt me. I didn't interrupt you.
Don't make
That bill passed the House of Representatives. It passed the U.S. Senate.
So I'm not sure if you guys can hear Jesse in the background. Hold on. I'm not sure if you guys can hear Jesse in the background. He's saying stop worshiping the black woman. Because that's what literally all this nigga's been doing the whole segment, man. Oh, that was like, yo.
It had a veto-proof majority in both the House and the Senate, which means even if Trump vetoed the bill, the Congress would have overrode his veto and it still would have become law. Okay, so some people want to give Trump all the credit for that. That was her bill, and she gets no credit for that.
It was a bipartisan bill. It was going to pass through anyway.
And not only was it going to pass, it had a veto-proof majority. So regardless of what he did, it was still going to become law. Going to work for white people. I've worked for...
Interesting that he says that, because granted, that may be true, may or not be true, but at the end of the day, it still happened during the term of Donald Trump. And I'm not here to champion for Donald Trump. I'm just saying, had that happened during the term of Barack Obama, I'm pretty sure you'd be trying to give him all the credit as well. Maybe not all the credit, but you'd be definitely trying to put some credit on his plate. So that's my point. You lack consistency. Like these people are phony, man.
White corporations, I work for African-American-owned businesses. Somebody who's trying to take care of their family, be responsible, take care of their family. If they work for a white corporation, or a white company or something like that, I don't look at them, okay, you're a sellout because you work for a white company. Now, if they are, I don't want to use certain terms, if they are putting on a minstrel show at work, see, that's something different, okay? You can work for a white company but not put on a minstrel show. Just because somebody works for a white corporation, the other thing is, when we look at these corporations, General Motors, I live here in Detroit. Lived in Detroit almost 50 years. I'll be 50 in June. General Motors, Ford, Chrysler. The money we spent on GM cars, all that stuff, we paid for all those jobs. So as far as I'm concerned, we should have jobs at all different levels of these companies that we.
Just because you patronize something or consume a certain thing doesn't give you fucking a stake in the company, motherfucker. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, because y'all bought those cars, now you should get the jobs. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. It'd be nice if you guys get the jobs because you live in that city. Yes, that's great, but just like, what are you talking about? Like, oh, you fucking...
Their money with, but bring that money back to the African American community.
You guys need to stop begging, man.
Bring that money back to the black people. Please, sir, don't interrupt.
Talk about
yield, Jesse.
Michael, stop begging.
Bring that money back to the African American community.
Michael.
And you utilize that money to help empower African American owned businesses also. Okay.
Michael, men don't beg.
Please, sir. Don't interrupt me.
Begging, man.
I'm holding back on you because I respect my elders, but
stop begging, Michael. What men do?
You're holding back? I highly doubt it, Mr. Imhotep. I highly doubt that.
I'm not begging.
Men make things happen. They don't.
Yeah, actually, you are begging. You're begging like a $2 hoe.
They don't.
Jesse, you wouldn't know a man if you met one.
They don't want.
No, actually, on the contrary, Mr. Imhotep, I don't think you would know a man if you met one. I'm pretty sure your last name is not Imhotep. I'm pretty sure that's not your natural last name. So I'm pretty sure you wouldn't know a man if you met one. You even sounded like a bitch this whole fucking panel discussion, man. Literally. Do yourself a favor and just stop.
Reparations, they make their way. The black man, when I was growing up, they made their way. They didn't beg the white man for anything because they didn't.
It's not begging white people. Wait a second.
White men were superior.
If you go back to if you look at the Homestead Act of 1862, that was a massive land giveaway of 245 million acres of land.
That is true. That is true, Mr. Michael Imhotep, the Homestead Act. But again, that happened almost 200 years ago. All right, ain't no fucking retro pay going on, dude. So I don't know the relevancy right now.
That mostly went to white people. Okay, if you want to talk about how white people got over in this country, it was by 45 million acres of land. Okay, but wait a
that
second.
white men were superior
If you go
to
back
them.
to if
Black
you look at the
men-
Homestead Act of
that
1862,
white
that was a
men-
massive land giveaway.
Yeah, Homestead Act 1862. That is true. But listen to what he says right after that.
Of 245 million acres of land that mostly went to white people. Okay, if you want to,
That mostly went to white people. Now I wonder why back in 1862 during the Homestead Act, the majority of the land went to white people. I'm not sure. You know, he's supposed to be the historian, so I'm not sure if he knows when the slavery ended and when the Civil War ended in this country. So not sure why he would say that as if it's like if it happened in 1960. That'd be completely different. Completely different. But this happened in 1860. So you thought that they were gonna just give 80% of the land to quote unquote black slaves? Come on, nigga. Come on.
if you want to talk about how white people got over in this country, it was by stealing the land,
That's not
reallocating
true.
the land, enslaving African people for
Not true.
246 years.
Those are
passing
lies,
laws,
Michael.
passing laws that disenfranchise.
No, Jesse. Some of that is true. Some of that is true. He's not. I wouldn't say he's lying right now. Some of that is true. A lot of the land they were given, and they were given like these huge subsidies to mature the land. And then they would get some slaves, and then that's how they were able to, you know. And also there were still uncharted territories to the west, you know, like just undeveloped, just there, and they wanted people to get out there because the more farmers they had out there, the more money they were able to create. During the Civil War, you have to understand the South was stupid rich compared to the North. Okay, so we have to keep everything in context.
Us, locked us out of voting. Then after the Civil War and after Reconstruction, 1877, because I always notice black conservatives. I always notice black conservatives is two things you don't want to talk about. One, you don't want to talk about the compromise of 1870. No, you interrupted me.
All
Don't
you
say
doing
excuse
is making
you.
excuses.
No. Slow down.
You sound like a female.
Slow down. I know you catering to the white people that donate
Yeah,
to
he does sound like a female right now.
your show. But black Republicans don't want to talk, and I'm not against black Republicans. I have friends that are black Republicans. You don't want to talk about the compromise of 1877, which was the compromise between the Republicans and the Democrats, and the Republicans.
See, the issue with that is, again, I'm not sitting here like, look, I know my history. All right, I know my history. This brother knows his history. Umar knows his history. It's important to know your history, especially true history. But if you're just gonna keep trying to, like, literally use history as a crutch as to what's the fuck's preventing you today, then you need to step aside. You don't need to be anywhere trying to steamhead any black quote unquote progress at all. At all. Now you're talking about something from 1870, dude. It's 2021. What are you doing today? I know you're not doing a shit because you don't have any solutions. And you already made that shit abundantly clear. So I know you're not doing shit besides just talking. Same with Umar. But I'm saying this so that y'all brothers can understand and identify this stuff, man. Because they'll throw word soup at you. They'll throw word salad at you, okay? They'll throw all this bullshit and all this, post-traumatic slave disorder and all this dumb shit, okay? But you got to be able to see through that nonsense.
Republicans agreed to remove the Union troops out of the South that reinstituted the Jim Crow laws, and the Union troops were protecting the rights of the new talk about the Lily White movement of 1928, which was the effort of Republicans to push African Americans out of the Republican Party and get Herbert Hoover elected as president in 1928. Now, if you want to have that conversation, we can have that conversation. It's not going to turn out.
Nigga, what do you mean you had that conversation? Nigga, why are you even talking about that? You brought that shit up. You talked about 1870 and 1920 and Herbert Hoover becoming president, nigga. That shit was already done and over and done with in the textbooks. So you're talking about had that conversation.
the way you think it's going to turn.
Michael, it's time to stop asking for freebies. I understand the women doing that because
you ever studied the Farmers Home Association?
I understand why women are doing it, but hold on, Michael.
You want to talk about the $26 billion that white farmers got from the Trump administration and black farmers got 1/10 of 1% freebies?
Michael, I understand the women doing that.
Well, as far as that goes, Michael, I don't know all the details about it, but I need to see how that broke down. Because if I were a betting man, I would say the majority of farmers in this country would be quote unquote white. So if I was to break that down to percentages, I would probably say that black farmers would be probably sub 10%. And again, these are rough numbers. I'm not 100% sure. But if they're sub 10%, and you're talking about all the money that was allocated to all the farmers, and then you're trying to say, oh, they only got such a small amount. Well, that's the equal of saying, okay, LeBron James, the NBA makes billions of dollars, right? But Marty Mohawk on the Atlanta Hawks only got paid this percentage out of all of that money. Well, that's because he's trash and he's on a small team. He's a very small part. He's not LeBron James. LeBron James makes more money because LeBron James generates more money. So if the black farmers aren't generating that much produce or whatever it is that they're creating on that farm, then why should they get that money? And now again, I'm not sure how it breaks down. You would have to show me that breakdown before you try to use it in an argument, or at least if you're going to use it in an argument, I would expect you to cite it all. Say, oh, this is how it was broken down, and this is why it is inequitable and wrong. But you're not doing that, so that leads me to believe that you're just trying to fucking skew the numbers and skew the story for your own benefit in this conversation. But again, Michael Imhotep, you, my friend, you are a fool, okay? You're a quote-unquote educated fool, and I'm going to say it one more time. You need to step the fuck down, step aside.
That is a good question. That is.
He doesn't want to deal with that.
Jesse, that is a good question. So let's.
You know, nigga, I just dealt with it. Fucking leaning back in your chair, pushing your fucking glasses up. I just dealt with it, nigga. I just told you what it was. You all you did was say something. You didn't cite no sources, no nothing, nigga. I need to know how this shit breaks down. I need to know how it breaks down. I need to know the logic behind it before we just can start saying, oh, well, you know, black farmers only got this much. Well, how much do they create?
Answer that question. You say that black people want freebies, but Michael just talked about a huge freebie for the white farmers. Are we not gonna? We're just gonna gloss past that?
There were black farmers who got money too.
They got 1/10 of 1% or $26 billion.
She asked me the question.
Hold on.
Hey,
they got 1/10 of 1% of $26 billion. They got $20.8 million.
Tammy, as I was
again, the question needs to be, how did it break down? How was that number calculated? Okay, y'all get what I'm saying?
Saying there were black people who received the money too, and what Michael is talking about happened over 100 years ago or so, and those days
2020 under Trump.
Those days are behind us.
That just happened last year, Reverend Jesse. Where you been?
There were black people who received it last year too, but you're not hearing about that. But what I want to tell you, I mean, it's time out for black people to stop begging. I'm sick of it. We can make our own way. Black people can make their own way if they get up and
if anyone ever watches Jesse Peterson show, you realize that he never ties himself to quote unquote blacks. But right there, he just said we. He said we. So a lot of y'all, try to hate on Jesse and say, oh, he's, this, that, and the third. Look, if you know anything about this man's history, he wants to see black people do well. Okay? But y'all niggas don't understand anything. And y'all just go with what motherfuckers tell you to your own detriment, man.
What I want to tell you, I mean, it's time out for black people to stop begging. I'm sick of it. We can make our own way. Black people can make their own way if they get up and do it. That's why we have to overcome this cultural thing, because blacks who are into their culture, they think that all blacks are just like them. begging and blaming and whining and talking about 150 years ago and all that. Why not live now? The blacks didn't do that when I was growing up, especially black men. They need to stop begging for freebies. America is an amazing place, right? And whatever you want to do in this country, you can do it. You can make it.
Oh, that thought. Okay, yes, that is true. That is so true. I'll have to agree with you on that, Reverend Jesse. Whatever you want to do in this country, you can do.
Yeah.
Dr. Umar, earlier you talked about, black men shouldn't date white women. Frederick Douglass was labeled a turncoat by many African Americans because he married a white woman. He was also criticized for his willingness to work with slave owners to seek a peaceful end to slavery. So what are your thoughts on that? Was Frederick Douglass a sellout?
Let me take the second point first, that Frederick Douglass was willing to work with slave owners to bring a peaceful close to slavery. That is incorrect. Frederick Douglass had always maintained that slavery would not end except with blood. If there was any collaboration with slave owners, it was in discussion, because Frederick Douglass at one time worked with William Lloyd Garrison, who used moral persuasion as the primary weapon to end slavery. Frederick Douglass fell out with him because he knew that trying to convince white people that owning black people was morally wrong was not going to end the institution of slavery. So whoever made that comment was incorrect. Now let's go to the first point, that his second wife was a white woman who he married at a very old.
So look, she asked him, "Is Frederick Douglass a turncoat or a sellout because he married a white woman?" Now, obviously, as you all know, Umar is a huge advocate for black, quote unquote, blacks not intermarrying and all that good stuff, right? But for y'all who don't know, allegedly, according to Umar, he's a descendant from Frederick Douglass. And also, he named his quote unquote school, AKA the abandoned building, the FDMG, which stands for Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. So, someone that he likes to, fancy after, married a white woman as his second wife. So she asked him the question, and obviously we're going to see what he says.
Age. Was it acceptable? Not to me at all. But what bothers me, and what I do consider to be another act of racism and discrimination against black women, is...
See, you simp ass nigga. Why are you talking about black women? We talking about Frederick Douglass and his white wife. Now, you said, was it okay for you? You said no, not at all. That's it, nigga. That's it. That's the answer to the question. No one wants to hear you. Now you're talking about black women and racism. Please, go on.
The fact that Anna Murray Douglass, who is the mother of all 5 of his children, and his wife for nearly 50 years until she died of illness, who helped him escape from slavery to freedom, who came up with the escape plan, who made the escape outfit.
Yes. And if anyone ever gets a chance, do read his autobiography. It's a very, very interesting life that he led, and especially when he escaped slavery. He had some close calls. That was a pretty interesting story. And everything that he's saying right now is true. But what's that got to do with him marrying a white woman, Mister? You're totally against it.
Who created the false free slave paper that he used to pass from Maryland through Pennsylvania and up to New York. She never gets mentioned.
Nigga, first of all, you're mentioning her right now. Why? I don't know. Okay, that's number one. Number two, when is she supposed to get mentioned? She's supposed to get her own fucking holiday? Like, what the fuck is you talking about? What are you talking about? Like, come on. She never gets mentioned. And you know what's interesting? You're saying all of that to try to, make her some kind of victim. But again, that makes it look worse. That, okay, you was with a quote-unquote black woman all these years, Frederick Douglass. She literally helped you become a free man. All of that. And then she died. And, it's not like you didn't remarry. Like, you just was like, nah, man, I'm rocking out. Like, you remarried. And on top of that, you married a white woman. So, according to Umar, come on, Umar. You're not being consistent, Umar. You're trying to just gloss over it by talking about some nonsense.
always skip over Anna Murray Douglas, his lifetime partner, for the white woman who he married just a few years away from the grave himself.
That's not even important.
I don't accept it, Sister Ted.
Agreed, Jesse. He was just trying to freaking blow the smoke in everyone's face, so that way, you know, come on. This is the same old. This is the old banana in the tailpipe trick, man.
But can we please show respect to
It's
Queen
not
Mother
even
Anna Murray Douglas? She is
What that got to do? What she got to do with any of this shit, nigga?
entitled to respect, and black people have to stop skipping over his real wife for the woman he spent the last few years of his life
His
with.
real wife? Well, hold on, nigga, because the nigga, he had 2 wives, okay? He married that white woman. So you're not gonna sit here and say real wife. I wonder how would he take that if he was here today to hear you say something like that? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. These niggas is some posers, some wannabes, okay? FDMG Academy, and, you know, nigga, Marcus Garvey, Frederick Douglass would both probably slap shit out you, nigga. All right? But you know what? Honestly, this series has gone on long enough. I think between the panel and then my commentary over it, I was able to point out a lot. And hopefully going forward, a lot of you brothers could literally identify these people and identify the bullshit, man. We have to be able to identify the bullshit. If you can't identify danger, then you're always gonna put yourself in dangerous situations. Okay, so we need to be better at that. Okay, and I know like there's a lot of dudes out there that are Dr. Umar Johnson fanboys. And honestly, this Michael Imhotep dude, like I said before, I think I seen him in like a documentary or something like that. But like I'm not really too keen on him, whatever. I just know what he said during his panel, and I'm sure there's gonna be a whole bunch of his fanboys coming out the woodwork too, trying to talk a whole bunch of nonsense. And I hope they do, cause I got something for their ass too, man. But anyway, I'm out.